Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino-American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton. We have Bridget Cotero Carino. All these are coming up and more afterward from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Brawner Jr. rejected calls of former President Rodrigo Duterte for the military to correct what Duterte described as the fractured governance of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
May panawagan na mag-intervene ang Armed Forces of the Philippines sa nangyayari sa ating politika ngayon dito sa ating bayan. But hindi po natin trabaho yun. No? That is not our job. So ang trabaho natin is to protect the Republic of the Philippines. Protect its people, defend our territory, and defend our sovereignty and our sovereign rights.
The AFP chief said such calls for military action will only lead to chaos, which will only benefit countries that want to encroach Philippine territory. According to the Sergeant Major of the AFP, experience has shown that ordinary soldiers suffer the most when joining actions against the government.
Mga professional na yung ating mga kasundaluhan. Marami ng mga experience na nangyari na at the end of the day, ang mas kawawa yung sundalo, yung mga pamilya ng mga sundalo na nagagamit ng mga personalidad na may pansariling adhikain. Ginagawa lang namin is just focus kung ano yung trabaho na ibinigay ng Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Although he respects the political inclination of each and every soldier, Brawner reminded troops of their vow to defend the Constitution and to protect the country and its people. AFP Deputy Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Jimmy Larida, for his part, said there are currently no grumblings in the military. He said this during the hearing of the Commission on Appointments Committee on National Defense on the ad interim appointment of 22 generals, flag officers, and a senior officer of the AFP.
Meron bang mga grumbling sa military ngayon because of the recent events?
100% none, sir.
Former military officials also made their voices heard. Staunch Duterte critic former Senator Antonio Trillanes says Duterte is clearly inciting sedition. While acknowledging some Duterte sympathizers remain in the armed forces, Trillanes, a former naval officer, believes they lack the numbers to stage a coup.
Ang kausa namin, the cause, malalim. No? It's about corruption in government, state-sponsored terrorism at the time na ginagawa nila against the civilians. Ito kasi, yung kausa nila ngayon is personal. Kaya nga yung may personal sympathies kay Duterte, sige, ando doon yun, given yun. No? Marami siyang nabola, nabudol ng mga officers. But is it enough for you to throw away everything, your freedom, your career, for this guy? No? It may not be enough. Tapos next doon is yung organization. Kailangan organisado kayo, di ba? Pagkilos niyan. May mga phases yan. And I think hindi sila nakalagpas dun sa socialization and recruitment phase. So they're still there. They've been trying the past year, pero nobody's biting.
Retired General and former Drug Enforcement Agency Chief Santiago, for his part, calls Duterte's statement a deliberate attempt to sow chaos in the nation.
Kung makikigulo ang military, patay tayo. Sigurado ba tayong ang military pag nag-take over, we can run the government better? Wala tayong assurance noon eh. Masyadong malaking gamble yun. Magantay tayo eleksyon. Wala kayong magagawa sa military. Kasi sinabing constitutional mandate, at susundan yan is the commander-in-chief. Ngayon, kung gusto mo sundan ka, mag-presidente ka ulit.
The National Bureau of Investigation is looking into the former president's statements. The agency's chief, Jaime Santiago, reveals the Bureau is now verifying if that statement from the former chief executive is authentic and not computer-generated.
Pinag-aaralan pa po namin yan. Pinag-aaralan namin maigi. Nagte-take action na kung authentic yung kanyang video clip na yon, yung pahayag niya na yon. Ginagawa na po namin ang nararapat na hakbang.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency presented before the House Quad Committee on Wednesday a matrix supposedly showing the link between illegal drugs and Philippine offshore gaming operators. PDEA Deputy Director General Renato Gumban says it is a compilation of information gathered from congressional hearings and various sources. The matrix showed an alleged connection between incorporators of a company that owns the warehouse in Mexico, Pampanga, where illegal drugs worth 3.6 billion pesos were seized September last year, and a certain Alan Lim, a casino junket operator and drug suspect. The matrix also included the name of a senator allied with former President Rodrigo Duterte.
According to this informant, Alan Lin is a close friend of then Special Assistant to the President, Christopher Bongo. According to our informant, they are just close friends. That's why we just put it there. It is not specific that they are involved in drugs.
So alam po ni Bongo ang mga trabaho po ni Alan Lin.
That would be answered by Senator Bongo, ma'am, not us yet. Because we are still investigating, we do not have concrete proof yet of what their transactions is.
There are layers.
Congressman slammed PDEA for including in the matrix the official's name without sufficient evidence linking him to any illegal activities.
Asek Gumban, why do you have to include Senator Bongo in the matrix when he is not even an incorporator?
Yes, sir, that is to establish that these people, Alan Lim, has a connection to higher ups because of their friendship with higher people. Maybe the title is wrong.
It also would be wrong for you to include a person who is not involved in those alleged crimes.
Also mentioned in the matrix is Duterte's former presidential economic advisor Michael Yang, but PDEA admitted it does not have enough proof to prove any wrongdoing.
Up to now, we cannot connect Michael Yang yet in this link diagram. It's just to happen that they are part of the corporation. They are just incorporators.
Senator Bongo slammed PDEA's matrix.
Napaka-irresponsable naman po ng PDEA sa kanilang ihahayag sa mga hearings. Nagiging malicious po ito, illogical attempt to establish guilt by association.
Meanwhile, the House Quad Committee cited in contempt former Mexico Pampanga Mayor Teddy Tumang for supposedly lying when asked if he personally knows the owners of the warehouse where 3.6 billion pesos in illegal drugs were found. The mega panel ordered his detention at the House of Representatives until it completes its committee report. Minutes later, Tumang said he was not feeling well.
How many times were you able to meet with him about acquisition of land? Ilang beses nyo na po sila nakita?
Hindi ko po ma-recall, Your Honor.
Would it be more than 10 times?
Hindi ko na po kayang mag-elaborate po ng mga question niyo, Your Honor. Masama na po yung pakiramdam ko.
May we ask the House doctor to please check on 1-minute suspension.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Oh, dadan!
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is the perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have quite a familiar face already because she was in our show before and I re-invited her for a very good cause. Her name is Miss Connie Esparza of the American Red Cross, Illinois region. Hi, welcome to our show, Connie.
Monica, thank you so much for having me here today.
Okay, I invited you here today for us to hear what is the latest about the appeal for blood donors out there for this coming holiday season.
Veronica, as we know, festive activities and busy calendars during this time of the year disrupt normal routines, leading to a drop in blood donation appointments. Eligible individuals are encouraged, Veronica, every single day to make donating blood a priority, especially with those that have the type O blood and those giving platelets. As we know, Veronica, every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. 25% of the blood that we collect goes to treat cancer patients. And we know we all have somebody in our family or maybe immediate circle who has been touched by cancer. And just imagine if that blood was not available for them for their treatment, what that would do. But also, we do collect 40% of the nation's blood supply, and that goes to help people who are maybe in an accident or facing a traumatic surgery, or that birth mother that just went a very difficult child through difficult labor, and maybe even her preemie baby. So there's so many different reasons why people can need blood, and we just need the generosity of the blood donors to make sure that supply is always available for them.
Wow, nice to hear. Okay, for how successful is the American Red Cross in their appeal last year?
As we know, we went through an appeal during the summer months because of travel, because of school, being out and different activities with children. We do see a drop in blood donations, just like we do during the winter months. But during the emergency appeal, we did see an increase. Now we just need to maintain it. And we need that critical O blood donor, whether you're O negative or O positive, to help us maintain that supply. Because as we know, in situations where blood type is not known, medical staff, your doctors, will be reaching for that O negative first and foremost, because it's the universal type, or O positive in those type of situations. So we need everybody's help to make sure that we keep that supply steady at hand.
Is there some kind of special program from the American Red Cross to attract donors?
Absolutely, Veronica. We're always incentivizing our blood donors as a way of to thank them for their generosity. In this case, if you're a fan of the sitcom Friends, they're celebrating their 30th year anniversary, and we're giving away a very limited edition Friends socks, and you'll get 2 pairs of socks if you come through November 18th through December 8th. And I do believe after December 8th, there will be an opportunity for you to receive an online gift card for a store of your choice. So there's always a good reason to donate blood. Not only are you a hero in saving lives, but you also get a little something in return.
Sounds very interesting. Okay. What is do you have the numbers so far of blood donors comparable, just like comparing it from previous years to last year, and what's your hope for the number this year?
Veronica, that's a really good question, and one that I would have to research a little bit further to have an answer, a very accurate answer for you. What I do know is that we see our donors, our recurrent donors, come forth each and every time. Our first-time blood donors have been at an increase as well. Has been the minority or the diverse donors, which is a big appeal for us right now. Is inspiring our diverse communities to come forward and be blood donors, because as we know, the closer match of a blood donor to blood recipient in ethnicity is a higher likelihood that things will have a more positive outcome. So we invite our diverse donors, our young donors, our first-time donors to come out and support. And it's a really easy process, Veronica. If you visit redcrossblood.org, or if you wish to speak to someone about the process and the requirements, you can also call 1-800-RED Cross.
Great, terrific. Okay, one last question. I wonder, for how many years has the Red Cross been doing this appeal for blood donors?
We have been, we have been collecting blood for, I would say, since the last century. It's been decades and decades. We are very fortunate in that, we had Dr. Charles Drew, our founder of the mobile blood drive, during wartime, who would, collect their communities and bring them all together to be blood donors. And it's been an ongoing process for us ever since then. So I would say for decades, and if I would venture to say even from the last century, Veronica, from very early on in the last century, that we've been collecting blood from our, like I said, our generous blood donors.
Does American Red Cross get involved in some kind of, if the country is at war, do they appear there and try to support the cause for the country?
Veronica, what I can tell you is that, here in our country, wherever there is a disaster, the Red Cross is the first there to make sure that people have a safe place to stay, shelter, food, immediate needs. And that also goes to blood donations. As we know, this, when we experienced Hurricanes Helene and Milton, there were hundreds of blood appointments that went unfulfilled because blood drives were canceled. So across the country, we had to respond and make sure that blood was available to those regions that were affected. And sometimes, in some cases, there are appeals outside of the United States, but those get a little tricky. But what I can talk about is how we make sure that blood is available in the regions that are impacted and where blood drives are canceled.
All right, great, terrific. It seems that you really love what you're doing, Connie.
It is a beautiful job, Veronica. I get to work with inspiring blood donors who come forth and just selflessly want to help somebody in need. And that's the appeal today, Veronica. And thank you so much for the opportunity to reach your audience and hopefully inspire them to come forward and join us at a blood drive.
All right. Thank you for gracing our show, Miss Connie Sparsa, Communications Director of the American Red Cross Illinois region. Right, Connie?
That is correct. Thank you,
See you
Veronica.
again. Good luck to you. Happy holidays. And we'll see you again next year.
Talk soon, Veronica. Happy holidays to you.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show. Today, I have three very interesting young Filipino-American leaders in our community. And believe it or not, I really saw these kids growing up almost. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited. And most of all, this lady here, Joy Molano. Oh, Joy, since she was a very little girl, I've seen her. I used to go to their place. Her mom was a good friend of mine. Hi guys, welcome to our show. And these young leaders are officers of a very, really old organization, and it has been there serving the community in the west suburbs. It is now called, it used to be Filipino Friendship Society of Bolingbrook. Now it's only known as Filipino Friendship Society. And these are the top officers of the organization. Let me introduce first the president, Michael Palmera.
Hello.
And the vice president, Choi Molano Vergara.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Rex Balsita. Wow, these kids really came
What's up?
from families. Really, their parents were my contemporaries, believe it or not. And I'm so happy to see these kids really growing up to become leaders of the community. Welcome to our show. Okay.
Thank you.
We're happy to be here. We are so happy to be here.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for gracing our show today. All right. First things, what is, whoever would like to answer, what is the FFS or Filipino Friendship Society?
The Filipino
what is this
Friendship Society.
organization all about?
Yes. The Filipino Friendship Society was first started in 1974 by like-minded Filipinos who wanted to create a group where they can share their values, their traditions, and their culture. So in 1974, we were new in Bolingbrook. We were just months new. My father, Nick Palmyra, was visited by three people: Rudy Molano, attorney Doria, and one other member I can't remember. But they tried to convince my father to help them create an organization here in Bolingbrook, specifically for Filipino Americans. And that became the start of the FFS, where my father wrote up the articles of the Constitution for the FFS, and we started gathering people together, going house to house to recruit new members. And since people worked during the day, we had to go house to house at night, and uh, they it was very successful. People, mostly the wives of the families, were pushing the husbands to join, and we all got together and we formed the FFS, and it's a it was a very interesting start. Seeing that here in Bolingbrook, when we first started, it was all farmland. There were barely any houses. So when we needed help to build our yards, our homes, we recruited other Filipinos in the community, because back then there weren't we couldn't just call like a gardener to come out, because they didn't exist back then. So other Filipinos would come out, and then would help people put out the new grass on their lawn, help with their backyards. It was incredible. So that was basically our start, and eventually we grew to participate in the community with the parades, the Bolingbrook parade, our first float, our first entry. We actually won three prizes in the parade, and which really garnered more Filipinos to join us. So that was a great event. So yeah, that was basically our start.
All right, very good. When it was founded, I remember I was there. I attended the first inaugural ball
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
FFS. All right, okay.
yes.
All right. These days, since you took off the name Bolingbrook, what areas or suburbs is this organization serving right now?
We're serving areas around Aurora, Joliet, Naperville, basically the surrounding suburbs of the western suburbs around Chicago. So we actually have members as far as North Chicago, and even some members in Indiana. So yeah, it's we're pretty much spread out. So,
Okay. Yeah, Joy. Okay, I've seen you always accompanying your mom or your dad around that time. Okay, now that you're an officer of this organization, um, you are the vice president of how do you see yourself serving the organization?
Hi, Tita Veronica. It's good to see you. Thank you to Rex and you for scheduling this historic time, actually, as we're coming back and reuniting. As vice president, trying to help get some of get reorganized and re-energized with the group, and helping our executive board, and trying to connect with members, and help really. I think we're going back 50 years when we were forming with our parents were forming the group, and we all have to do a little bit of everything in starting an organization, a community organization, a business, what have you. It really takes a really large team effort to restart and energize a group. So just trying to play the role that I can to help Michael in his presidency, but also uh trying to work with the board and help each other in our collective goals that we have, and remind families. I think one of the roles that I play in particular Now living here and raising my family, being able to connect with new families that are in the area, connect with old friends. RJ and I were in the dance troupe with Auntie Alice. And so with Michelle, Santa Maria, Calma, we were all in the dance troupe around the same time. So trying to bring the generations back where my sisters have friends from the beginning. They were a little bit older than Michael, but they were the teenagers of FFS when it first started, and they remember the Christmas parties and the picnic and the cotillions and the Santa Cruz Suns. So trying to connect, our families that are still here from the 70s and connect them to what we have today in the future.
All right, very good. Okay. How about Rex? Rex, how do you see, the involvement of these young leaders? How do you see yourself as one of them, and what do you plan on doing to make the organization to become bigger and more serviceable to the community?
Yes, thank you. And hello, Tita Veronica. And I must just say that it really is an honor to be in the presence of an icon and a celebrity of Chicago. You are known all across, and I'm really a little nervous being around, having being interviewed by you. You are a celebrity. Everybody knows you. So yes, with FFS, it's funny because I think the story of the new board and the second gen taking over, it kind of just unfolded really naturally. All of us didn't really know exactly how we were going to do this, but we all wanted to do it in some way or another. And we all had our own kind of ideas, but it was all kind of heading towards the same direction. So I think for me personally, what really hit close to me was really just reuniting this second generation. All of us were together and grew up together, led by our parents, the first generation, forcing us to go to all of these parties and gatherings that none of us wanted to go to. But I cannot tell you how grateful that we were put in that position and forced to go to these, because looking back at all of these people in the community that we know and that we still talk to, so that really kind of hit close, where I want to continue that with the third generation. I want not only the second generation to get reunited, but I want the third generation to unite, because that is something that is probably not really happening. I don't think that we have to do, you know, social events every week or every month, but just the ones that we do, we want to focus on, the second gen reuniting, the first gen uniting, while still upholding that legacy that's being handed down from our first gen.
Terrific. Okay. Maybe the three of you could give me, in your own mind or memory, if the time, a very favorite recall in your memory, that when you were going with your parents, your mom or your dad, around the community, what is the thing that really get imprinted in your mind? Can you please tell me? Okay, I'll start with the president, Michael Palmero.
I think it would have to be, for me, it would have to be the Christmas parties.
All right.
When I was young, I remember the Christmas party. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and we would have the Christmas parties at the Park District. And I remember the Santa Claus would come out, and he would start passing out the toys, and I was like, I'm not gonna get anything. I'm not gonna get anything. And then as everyone's name was being called, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get anything. Well, Santa calls my name, and then he brings out this big present, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. I forget what it was, but it was like this big present, and it was the biggest one in the bag. I was like,
Oh,
Oh,
oh my
wow.
goodness, okay, yeah,
and
that was really special for me. So
great
yeah.
memories. All right,
Yeah.
Joy. What was it?
Oh gosh. Okay, so my dad, as Michael said, has been part of FFS, and my mom, of course. That is true. The wives did a lot of influencing their husbands and partners, and so you know. Gosh, there's so many. It's hard to just pick one because some of my favorites are with people that I'm with on eBoard, like RJ and Michelle, and dancing for the Filipino Friendship Society and representing for the dance troupe. And we did that for over a year or so, and now we still see each other. On social media or have a reunion of sorts in an upcoming year at events. So being part of the Filipino dance troupe was something special because we got to do some things and got to meet other Filipinos in the community that we didn't go to school with necessarily. We all didn't go to St. Dominic or we were in different grades. I am going to share a couple more just because I'm that old. But I would have to say, being part of my own cotillion in 1993 and being part of my sister's cotillion as one of her flower girls and seeing just the other cotillions that we had as a part of FFS. And you'll see Tito Romy be the father, but also the father figure for other debutantes. And we have our cotillion souvenir books. And so I know back then, I have to agree, back then we didn't know all what it would mean or how it would impact us. But seeing that we got to do that with other debutantes in the Filipino community and their families, and decades later, we can remember, the dance practices, the escorts that we've had, and friendships that we've made. And I think that's why we're still called the Filipino Friendship Society. I could go on and on because there's a lot of events that happened, but those are probably the two because it mixed friendship with my family. The cotillions did. So those were some special moments.
Terrific. Thank you. And you, Rex?
Yes, I will definitely add to the Filipino dance troupe memory. I I'm a little younger than Joy, and I was forced to attend uh a practice for I didn't really know what it was, but my mom dragged me to Tita Alice's house to potentially start practicing folk dance. I've never danced a day in my life. I was really young. I think I was only maybe in uh, uh fifth grade. I don't know, 10 years old or 12, something like that. And I didn't want to be there. There was only Tita Alice's son, who was the same age as me, and these two other girls, and there was the four of us practicing, and I'm doing like these childish dances, these really, I don't want to dance with girls. But I had, she kind of forced me. My mom, let's just say she forced me. And I did it, but what really surprised me, well, I was super shocked. I don't think anybody knows this, Joe, you know this, but I didn't had no idea that it was part of a bigger group.
Oh,
So within a couple weeks or a week or two, there was officially a practice with everybody, and there was like 30 kids there. And that's when I met Joy. a bunch of other kids in the community that I knew from my sister's friends, and I was just like, wow, I didn't know everybody was here, you know, and it really was just just an amazing time throughout those couple of years. We were a big production. It was a very big deal. We were traveling, doing other, not just FFS events, but we were doing all types of events for the Filipino community. We had young kids to middle to older, all the whole age range, and represented in our group. And definitely when we would perform for FFS, the huge Christmas parties, the induction ball, or the cotillions. I mean, those were our big, huge performances that we were gearing up towards. But outside of that, I definitely want to add that, you know, when my dad, he was president for in 90 like 89 to 91. So that was definitely some of my is I think this was even before I was dancing, and I just remember it was the coolest. My dad's the president, and like I felt like he was the man and he was in charge, and to see him up there talking on the podium and addressing, and that just really stuck with me. Just how cool it was to be the son's, you know, president, president's son. So
Terrific. Fun memories. One quick
yes.
question before we sign off. Okay. One by one. Are you planning to have your children and grandchildren uh, with these legacies that you have experienced from your parents?
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Um, Tita V, I have three kids with my husband here in Bolingbrook. And, you know, we had our induction last, earlier
October
this
6th.
month,
Yeah.
actually, just a few weeks, what is that, 4 weeks ago? And, and I think my kids and my nieces and nephews actually, because they participated in my mom's productions, whether there was Santa Cruzan or another church event. And so, my nieces and nephews have been part of FFS and my sister's kids. And, when I had when we started meeting, and I had talked to my husband about it, and I think wholeheartedly we wanted this to be part of our family. And bring, some of these memories for even my nieces and nephews. I had family come out from Texas actually for the inauguration, and it was the first time that she saw Tinikling dance. And I was like, wow, and they saw the two dances that we had because of FFS, you know. For my kids, they've heard about things or stories that we have shared or my sisters have shared or my husband has shared in their own, them growing up. And now they can experience it. And so they my second child was asked to escort Rex's niece. And I think they understand a little bit of obligation, but I think they also understand what this means to our culture and carrying it through the next generation. So I think we'll see that. And as a parent now, I want to balance it a little bit, but I think they understand what the legacy means. As my dad and mom were also officers and presidents, and all of our parents were. And so I think they understand why we would like them to carry this on, and we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot of I think what I can share with the next generation and raising some and being around some of the next generation, I think they're just as prideful, if not more, of our Filipino culture.
Great. Terrific. Mike or Rex?
I have no kids, so
Oh,
but
no,
we definitely
not
want to have
necessarily. kids,
We definitely want to have
nephews, your
the youth
nieces,
involved. We definitely want to have the youth involved in our organization, and we want to influence them to take pride in their Filipino heritage, their history, their culture and traditions, and either through in the classroom or through their parents or their friends. It's it's important for them to learn our values and to carry that on to the next generation. So yes, yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. These are part of, this is not just our values, just as this is our culture, this is our legacy, this is everything that we've known. And I think to add to Joy, I think that this third generation is genuinely interested. And we're kind of seeing this reaction, the support coming from third gen. So now it's really just up to us to help curate some of these events, really make them exciting. I mentioned about reuniting the second gen. I really want to be a spark plug and be an example of second generation. I want to personally reach out to as many second generation friends and old friends that I've had, to just get this word out to them, to hopefully, get their support at, at least one event, if not, some events in our future, and just, bring us back together, to just have network and just have a good time, catch up on life, catch up on what we're doing, have our kids. I don't have kids either, Tita V, but I have a lot of friends with kids. I have my own nieces and nephews, and it really warms me to think about what we can do and what we could bring to them and teach them what our parents taught us. And so, we want to expand out of Bolingbrook. We want to be an example for all of Chicago, and so hope to be involved with other organizations and do partnerships and collaborations. So there's a lot of, it's exciting. It really is exciting to think about. And again, we're here to reunite and reignite the FFS.
Which is our slogan.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
I think the norm for our community has been to just stay silent and keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be someone to start that conversation.
Yeah. You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon, this is Bridget Carino-Quetter bringing you this week's local news from our community. On December 4th, Cook County Commissioner Josina Morita will host a first-of-its-kind Language Access Summit in Oakton College at Skokie, a landmark event addressing the importance of ensuring language access in one of the country's most linguistically diverse counties. With over 100 languages spoken across Cook County, this summit will bring together leaders from government, nonprofits, education, and community organizations to share strategies, collaborate on solutions, and advance equitable access to services for all residents in Cook County. The Illinois Department of Public Health is reminding Illinoisans to celebrate the 2024 Thanksgiving holiday safely by taking precautions to protect everyone from foodborne illnesses, as well as uninvited guests, those seasonal viruses that may be circulating. Hosts can protect their guests by following basic food safety tips, including keeping hot foods hot, cold foods cold, and properly thawing frozen turkeys before roasting them. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, said IDPH Director Dr. Samir Vora. I love the food, spending time with family and friends, and the football. As we gather in community this week, I want to remind everybody, and especially those preparing food, that we can prevent unwanted illnesses by following proven food safety tips. Two of the most important are thoroughly thaw frozen turkeys in the fridge and make sure the turkey and stuffing are cooked to a safe temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston is facing backlash after warning that Trump's proposed mass deportations could lead to a Tiananmen Square moment in his city. Johnston's remarks referencing the violent 1989 crackdown in Beijing have sparked outrage from both sides of the political aisle. Critics accuse him of fear-mongering and downplaying the seriousness of China's human rights abuses. Trump's immigration plans include deporting large numbers of illegal immigrants, and Johnston's comments reflect growing tensions between sanctuary cities and federal authorities. As the debate over immigration heats up, Johnston's rhetoric underscores the challenges cities face in navigating national policy changes. The White House has requested Congress approve $100 billion in emergency funding to address recent hurricanes and other natural disasters. The proposed package includes support for rebuilding infrastructure, disaster relief programs, and community aid initiatives. Critics argue that the plan lacks fiscal accountability, while supporters highlight the need for immediate action to assist affected communities. As Congress debates over the proposal, Americans impacted by these disasters await much-needed relief. Cook County is proud to announce that the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development has been named a winner in the 23rd Annual Chicago Innovation Awards for Cook County Manufacturing Reinvented, a grant program geared toward helping manufacturers improve productivity. This marks the first time the county has received a Chicago Innovation Award, and this year's winners were announced at a ceremony on November 14th at the University of Illinois Chicago Forum. The annual Chicago Innovation Awards is the Chicago region's foremost recognition of the most innovative new products or services brought to market each year. The Bureau of Economic Development received a Wintrust Chicago Neighborhood Award. The Illinois Student Assistance Commission, the state's college access and financial aid agency, is pleased to announce the 2025 to 2026 Illinois State Scholars. State scholars are chosen each year based on their ACT or SAT test scores and sixth semester class rank and are honored for their remarkable academic achievements. These talented students rank in approximately the top 10% of graduates from Illinois high schools. More than 16,500 students from 684 high schools have been designated this honor. On behalf of ISAC, congratulations to all our Illinois State Scholars for their hard work and persistence in achieving this academic honor, said ISAC Executive Director Eric Zarnico. The efforts and engagement of these students can pay off not only as they embark on their post-secondary journeys, but also later in their approach to a job and career. As we recognize our honorees, we also acknowledge the invaluable support of families, counselors, teachers, principals, and communities in helping our students succeed. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
It's more fun in the Philippines.